A day after acquiring Joe Flacco, the Bengals have tabbed him as their starter. Head coach Zach Taylor confirmed on Wednesday that the 40-year-old vet is going to get the start on Sunday in Green Bay. He replaces Jake Browning, who went 0-3 as a starter after Joe Burrow's toe injury. It will be Flacco's second start against the Packers this season. Cleveland pulled the upset over Green Bay in Week 3, Flacco's lone win as the Browns starter this season. Here with CBS Sports NFL analyst Emory Hunt. And Emory, you know the Bengals offense is one of the worst, right, in the league. So what should we expect from Flacco in this Bengals offense on Sunday?
The silver lining for Joe Flacco versus Green Bay, as you touched on it in the open, is that he has gone against his defense already. So we already know what that looks like. He already know what that feels like. So don't expect much. That's the part that is puzzling me out this whole thing, because you win. I know Jake Brown has thrown a lot of interceptions. Now you bring in Joe Flacco, who will also throw a lot of interceptions, but also get sacked in the process. So therefore, you have a net negative with him at quarterback. The only benefit is that you see a quarterback that has gone through this defense already, almost got like live game action, and now he gets to go up against it again. But the problem is he goes to a worse offensive line than the Cleveland Browns, and now in Cincinnati. So with no run game to speak of, because if we go back to that game against the Packers when he was with the Browns, it was Quinshad Junkins that got him back in the groove. They got the offense going, and they went ahead and won that ball game in an amazing fashion. But it wasn't because of the passing game. So now I am just kind of fascinated how this is going to turn out. I feel like we already know, but I'm the first one here to say it on CBS Sports HQ. It won't be pretty.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It could get ugly for the Cincinnati Bengals. And now the offense, Emory, it's not the only issue for the Cincinnati team. They've been outscored 113-37 during their 3-game losing streak. In comes a Packers team, right, fresh off the bye, that just put up a 40-burger in their last outing. What should be the emphasis for Al Golden in this matchup?
He's coming off a bye after putting up a 40-burger, taking on Joe Flacco and a beat-up offense. Oh, my God. Like, listen, this is a problem. But if you're Green Bay, you come into this ball game, you're like, hey, man, listen, like, we're going to come in and make sure that we do a good job of not giving them life. And if you're the Bengals defense, you're like, hey, first things first, stop the run. You can't let, Josh Jacobs get going. You can't let this offensive line find some success or build some confidence. Because, again, they're coming off of a bye. That could go one of two ways. You could be well rested or you can be too rested. And so if you're Cincinnati, you got to really jump on them early and do a great job of winning on first down defensively. Because if you can do that, then it gives you a shot. But on the other side, when you're Green Bay, you also understand that, hey, we might get their best punch in the first quarter. We got to take the little bit of confidence that they have coming into this matchup, the false confidence that they built in that tunnel on the way to the field, and kill all that noise right away. If they can do that in the first quarter, talking about with a trick play or whatever, go for the jugular early, then Green Bay can really kill take all the air or the wind out of the sails for this Bengals offense and their defense.
Now the Bengals, Emory, are 14.5-point underdogs Sunday in Green Bay, in all likelihood headed towards a 4th straight loss. The initial timeline for a Joe Burrow return was mid-December. How many winnable games do you see on this schedule? Like, will they be in a position where it's worth putting him back out there?
Well, it's funny because the Packers are coming off of a bye, coming off of putting 40 points up on, the Cowboys or whatnot, and they welcome in a banged up, beat up, punchless Cincinnati Bengals team. It feels like homecoming for Green Bay, right? I guarantee you're going to have all the retired jerseys there. Everybody's going to, so if you're Joe Burrow and you sitting back watching this thing play out, why would you come back? Unless Joe Flacco gets hot and goes on a run and you win some games and maybe you're like right within striking distance of that wild card spot, that final playoff position in the AFC, that 7th seed, and then you can entertain maybe he comes back and gives you something. But in order for that to happen, you got to win games. In order for the Bengals to win games, it goes with them trying to figure out how to get a run game going. They can balance out the offense. Yes, Joe Flacco has the arm to push it vertical down the field, but that has been the problem for Jake Browning because they can't protect. They don't want to run the football, so now he's just dropping back 40-plus times and getting sacked. That's going to happen with Joe Flacco if you don't find a run game. So if you can't find a run game, you're not going to build any kind of continuity. You're not going to keep that offensive line to break, which also means you're not going to win games, which also means you're not going to bring Joe Burrow back at some point later in the season. So it doesn't look like he's coming back. I wouldn't come back if I'm Joe Burrow. So we'll see how this thing plays out. But it all starts with them try to find a running game to help Joe Flacco get the ball to those receivers down the field.
Yeah, hopefully the season is not lost again. Outside the Steelers, these teams in the AFC North not looking sharp. So there is potential, but maybe not likely with all the circumstances. Emory Hunt, we appreciate the insight, man. And make sure to tune into our action on CBS and the NFL. Browns on the road against the Steelers, then Chargers, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints in that 1 Eastern window, and then 4:25. It's the 49ers on the road against the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, he's been looking really sharp to start the year. And then Bengals at the Packers. Hopefully, for Joe Flacco's sake, he won't get roughed up too much by the Packers defense.